Going to start with a presentation now from Jacques Mathieu. Jacques works at Oriflame, which is a beauty company selling through the direct selling channel. And Jacques has been building the consumer insights department in the last 9 years from scratch. And also innovation is getting more and more relevant in this area. And Jacques is going to tell you something about their their youth platform, their private platform. And okay, good luck.
Thank you. So welcome everybody. So to start with, yes, I am basically Jacques Mathieu and responsible for consumer insights, which is basically all market research in the group, as well as front-end innovation. So today I will talk to you about a youth initiative we had, so I will explain a little bit, and go into this kind of approach linked to using a specific tool that Mina talked about at the introduction, so which is a private online web community. And I will make the link also where we put this in the front end of innovation process we have built internally. So first of all, and I'm very glad we had the presentation from Avon earlier, and I think Angela did a great presentation about what direct selling is. So I will not go into this direct selling business model, but everything that has been said from Avon is actually relevant for Oriflame. So we are busy in the same kind of area. So who is Oriflame, basically? Oriflame is a Swedish company. So it was founded by two brothers, Swedish brothers, and one partner. And it was founded 45 years ago, so 1967. We sell through catalogs, so it's what we call door-to-door, but so basically it's a catalog that is distributed through consultants, and we have 3.5 million consultants all over the world currently. And we publish more or less a new catalog every third week. That's more or less the frequency in every region. So you can imagine we need a lot of products to fill those kind of catalogs to be always relevant and new to the consumers. And we are active in 60 countries, and typically, and this is quite specific to Oriflame, we are mainly active in emerging countries, so the Western European developed big markets are not our markets. So we are not present in France, we are not present in Germany, we are not present in the States neither in Japan, but we are very strong in Eastern Europe. We'll show it just after. And our internal vision from the business perspective is typically to become the #1 beauty company selling direct. We did not put any date on this, so this is a vision. So it will take time, of course, because Avon is much bigger than we are currently. So this is a little bit Oriflame, and this is a picture of how Oriflame has evolved. If you see this last 20 years, Oriflame grew on average 15% every year. Of course, in the last years, it's a little bit slowing down with the crisis, but it's a quite amazing and impressive figure. And we aim at continuing growing at a double-digit growth on a yearly basis in the future. If you see this, basically the story of Oriflame can be explained with 3 key dates. One of the key dates is 1990, when basically Oriflame decided, immediately after the fall of the wall in Germany, to move into East. And Oriflame was very fast into going East, and that explains a big part of the growth there. And the second key date is 1998, where you see a small drop there. And this is the year of the Russian crisis, financial crisis. And why is it a key date for Oriflame? Because Oriflame in that time did not quit Russia. So Oriflame stayed in Russia, even if everything was a little bit collapsing there. And Oriflame decided also to fire some people. A lot of people we fired at that time. But what happened? Oriflame took them back as soon as the business recovered. And this is a great story we have managed to communicate later on, which gives us a very good image in Russia and in former Soviet Union. And then, of course, we grow, and we expand currently in many other countries. So if you see where we are very strong at is what we call CIS and Baltic. So it's basically former Soviet Union, more or less, region, which is 55% of our sales. And then the second biggest one is EMEA, so it's Europe, Middle East, and Africa. But mainly in that region is Eastern European countries, which are the big part. And of course, the two small regions, Latin America and Asia, they are the smallest one, but currently they are the fastest growing one as well. So we grow quite fast in Latin America and quite fast in Asia. So hopefully this balance will become, this portfolio of regions will become much more balanced in the near future. When we talk about products, we are a beauty company, we said. So we sell basically a little bit everything that you can do in cosmetics. Skincare, this is the heritage of the company. So we are mainly a skincare company. But we sell as well color cosmetics, so all makeup. Fragrances, very important in direct selling, specifically in regions, for example, like Latin America. We have all the personal and hair care products. And we have also then accessories, which is more like beauty accessories. Could be jewelry, could be cosmetic accessories, could be home decoration, things like this, which is more support category. And then we have the new baby, which is wellness, where you have a little bit this beauty from within aspect coming through, which is with also weight management as well. And this transfers to this balance of portfolio in categories. So pretty much balance between fragrance, personal and hair care, color, and skincare. 20% around for all those ones. Okay, so this is the picture of Oriflame. Probably most of you didn't know really who we are. So today, what would I like to talk about it is I would like to talk about the youth project we had, targeting the youth. And that's something we realized we needed to do. And why did we realize to do that? Because we identified through different channels that there was a big opportunity. We were not really into it. And when I say we realized, it's 3 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago only. What did we see? We saw, okay, a huge potential of the target audience, especially in emerging markets, very young populations. So there, we could tap more into it. And then also something quite interesting from us was we make a brand tracking research every year in many countries. And among those attributes linked to the brand, there is something about usefulness. And we realized that we are not really perceived as a useful brand, so not really aspirational for young people. So that was something we said, this we need to work on. Then also we saw definitely, as we are a direct selling company, we sell through representatives, or what we call consultants. Okay, those young ones can be also selling our products. And there are a lot of people, mainly students, for example, who look for pocket money. And that's a very good way through direct selling to make this. So also we needed to reinforce the presence of the young ones among our sales force. And finally, we also saw that if we tap more into the young ones, then we will be able to develop products that match their needs, so we can expand our portfolio as well in that direction. So all those things made that we decided to create something a little bit specific and unusual for us, is really dedicating something to a specific target and not a specific category. So to do this, the focus was first to develop a youth platform, and we decided to go for something that we called internally a Dare to Be platform with many initiatives behind it. One of the big things, which was a big change for Oriflame, was that we decided to change the marketing structure organization for this project. So we are typically organized by categories, skincare, color cosmetics, with brand development management there. In this case, we decided to create a cross-category function. So the marketing, we had basically someone which was a cross-category responsible for youth. At the same time, we dedicated some people in each category to develop those products for the youth people. So some people working in the category, but being in charge of all the products dedicated to that target. And then, because it's very important in our business as well, we need to communicate this and to transfer all this into the regions, into the local countries. So we also nominated cross-category person, local coordinators in every region and even in some local countries. So that was really managing this project in a different way. The other thing also, because this was a daring kind of initiative from our side, we said, okay, we cannot go like this being blind. So we need to do it in a well-thought way, I would say. That's why Consumer Insight, which is basically my department, was highly involved into this. And we also allocated specific resources, full-time or at least part-time to it, but mainly dedicated to this project. And we did a lot of research. Oriflame is not typically the kind of company who is doing that much research into it. We don't spend the money like, I guess, Procter & Gamble, Unilever, L'Oreal we spend. So we are really thinking a lot about before spending some money on research. And here we decided to invest quite a lot. So we did a lot of traditional research on focus groups. we also send our people to meet those young people. Because of course, and this I will come back to it, but none of us in the company is on the age of the target audience. And that's one of the problems sometimes we have when we develop some products for this kind of project. And then we came with this specific private web community project, which turned to be a key element in this project to make it run and to validate many, many things. And I will go a little bit onto this, the web community. So it's a private web community. So we have been talking about social media and so on, tapping into social media. Here, the difference is we tap into something which is private, so accessible only on invitation. And this private web community is basically there for having this three-direction communication. So it's not only us, of course we do it, we ask questions to the participants and we get their answers to those topics, but it's also the participants asking things to Oriflame, sorry, and then we answer those kinds of topics. But very interesting is the third one, is when the participants start talking together and they initiate themselves topics and they react, interact. And what do we do there? We are observing what's happening. And of course, because this web community is dedicated to Oriflame products, a lot of the conversation goes about the Oriflame products, goes about cosmetics, and also goes about the business model. So because the participants are all sales consultants. So they are people selling our products. But when we decided to do this, at the real beginning, that was the main problem, and that's what I want to share a bit with you, the backside on, the behind the scene of all those kinds of things. This is the theory. Of course, very attractive theory. It looks like it will work perfectly, and that will bring a lot of ideas. But the main problem was at the beginning, how much time will it take? And that was completely unknown from our side. No experience, okay? It was purely theoretical experience on this thing. So how much time? Question mark. Then, who has experience to manage a web community in the company? No one. Then, not having the target audience anymore. So that's what I said, the age. So basically, everyone has an opinion about how to develop products about those young ones. But that opinion is based on their view of how it was when they were young. So of course, if you talk to a brand manager 25 or 30, that's 5 years ago. If you talk to someone like me, it's a few decades ago. So it's a little bit not clear that you can really have a good opinion about it. So that was also some of the challenges. And then a web community is not cheap, I must say. That's a huge investment. So how to sell that when you start from scratch, it's maybe not easy. So yeah, and the idea was, of course, that this is a day-to-day work. It's not one research that you do. It's something that when you start it, you have to do it for, now, afterwards, we can say we have been doing it for 3 years now. So it's really on a day-to-day basis. So it's quite a big decision to take and a big organization to put behind, and you need the commitment of top management to do that. So what we did is build a strong business case. That's what's necessary. And in the strong business case, you have several key things. Of course, you can highlight the market opportunities, the sales opportunities, all those kind of things. Most of the people will agree that's definitely easy to sell. Then, of course, you have the financial side. It's expensive, so it's not that easy to sell. But then when you reflect to it, you sell it about what you can do and what is the cost of what you do if you refer to the cost of the web community and what would it cost to do it outside, then it turns completely the equation in your favor. So that's one of the good thing to do, is when you demonstrate, of course, you come with a big investment on the table, but if you say, okay, the things we will be doing are worth 10 times this. So that's a good way to sell it. That was one important thing. But to my surprise, actually, the most important thing, which was another one, was something that was considered a little bit by our team as a detail. What was the real thing that made the top management decide, yes, go for it? It was when we came and we say, this is a web community where you have sales consultants in it. And this is a web community where we can interact directly with them. And the top management suddenly realized, wow, so this means that now I can ask something to that lady in that country, which is at the lower level maybe, or small level, because they are all young ones, so starting in our level of sales consultants. I can directly have her feedback. And I don't have that feedback of that lady who is with us for 15 years, who is building a big network, and who is a little bit filtering all this feedback. So now I can access myself directly this. And that was a key element that really loved all the top management. They said, wow, great, now we can know exactly what the people at the basis really think about what we are doing. So that was the key element in the end that make the decision, I would say. Then, to manage it, we need to build a core team, and that's also very, very important, I think, in this kind of project. And I'm talking about internal core team. I'm not talking about the agency. The agency side is something I will talk about after. But so internally, you have the owners of the project, and it's very important that you have a very few people who are fully dedicated to it and who really make it happen. So typically, we have that youth person, manager, so the one from the marketing perspective, which is really the one who is making things running in the marketing team, and who is making sure that every category is really working on it and making things happen. Then you had my position here, which is more like about the research tool and making sure everything we are doing is research appropriate, and making also understand everyone of the potential of the tool. What can you do? Because, of course, all brand managers, we're not aware of all the possibilities. I will show you a few of the possibilities afterwards. And then, of course, we decided also, in my team, to allocate someone half-time. So it's half-time person dedicated to it. So that's something we need to be aware of. And those 3 persons are the key contacts with the agency. So that's really the thing we also decided to do very clear. Those 3 persons only talk with the agency directly on a permanent basis. Not every brand manager or every person in the company is contacting the agency to do anything. Everything is organized in this way. Then you have the extended team, and the extended team is all those ones who are like brand managers and creative managers. Creative managers are the ones who develop our catalogs, so our shop, basically. All those ones are involved, highly involved. They are dedicated people, sometimes full-time, sometimes part-time. So the creative managers, we have full-time people only working on the youth. For the brand managers, they have other brands as well, but they work on the youth brands, so it's part-time for them. So those ones are the ones we involve regularly. So they get the feedback, of course, of any research which has been done. And they are also involved in a yearly conference with the agency where we discuss with the agency what has happened and what will happen. So those people are very involved in the project as well. And then, to make it alive, you need what I called here the second tier. You need to involve a lot of people in the company, which are a little bit spread everywhere, but which are the ones that you need to keep alive and to tell them, okay, this is happening, this is ongoing, this is the progress we made, so that you make sure that you get the budgets continuously, that you make sure also that people will use what's happening and know that this is happening. So that's the way you make it alive. Otherwise, it could be disappearing and becoming like a separate tower of a research project. We want it really to have something that everyone is using and everyone is referring to. So that's a little bit, and then for those ones, typically we develop a kind of reporting on a regular basis where we announce, okay, these are the things that have been done this month. Then we have also kind of things like, for example, of course we ask for IDs in those, in this web community. So we have a regular kind of reporting saying, okay, these are the kind of 5 IDs of the month in skincare, 5 IDs of the month in color coming from the web community. Sometimes it's something which is not existing. Sometimes it's just something very interesting that a lady in Indonesia is telling us, I've seen this in the market, and we say, okay, we have never seen that kind of product. So that's quite new and maybe interesting to look at. So those kind of things are the things circulating. And then, of course, the main thing, do not underestimate the workload, because it's not, it's really time-consuming. It's time-consuming at different phases. Time-consuming at the pre-phase. So when you start doing it, first it's a lot of legal aspects, because of course it's a private community, so we have of course a confidentiality agreement with all participants, so that they can, everything which happens in the community is ours. They cannot claim afterwards, that was my ID, you need to pay me for that. So that's a condition to enter the web community. But also it's a lot of internal procedures about how to make it alive and how to make marketing work. Because of course you need to build a long-term activity plan at the beginning also. So you need to anticipate quite a lot what you will be doing with that web community. And you need to come with projects every week, several projects every week. So this means of course at the beginning you can have easily 20 projects on the table. After 1 year or 2, you still need to activate this and to continuously have those 20 projects ongoing on the table. So that's taking quite a lot of time. The design also, but this is more work from the agency with the tool they have to make it attractive for the participants. Then in the ongoing phase, so it's all this about feeding the web community. Then it's sharing the information, feedback to the participants, also very important, because we need to use them. So definitely when we do something based on what has been said in that web community, we tell them. We say, hey, look, here is something, and you remember what you discussed 3 months ago. We are not going to implement it, or sometimes when it's a bit more sensitive, maybe we just say it when we launch it. And we say, remember 1 year ago when we discussed this? No, we launch it. Then, of course, we have a weekly call with the agency, so to manage everything with them. It's about the topics, it's about the reporting, but it's about also the rewards, how would we reward the people. And definitely in our case, because they are sales consultants, they are rewarded with Oriflame products. That's the only thing they want, but that's not their main motivation, I can tell you. And then, of course, we do our regular refreshment of participants to ensure vibrancy. So twice a year, we change between half and, well, a third or half of the participants, so that we get new people into it, and also that we get people who are really motivated into it. So the gift management, so as I said, is just products. On average, we give them on a monthly basis. They need to be participating in 4 activities in the month, and we generate ourselves 8 activities every month, so twice a week. So they need to participate to half of the activities at least to get the prize, and the prize is products which is worth between 10 and 15 euros, which is, I would say, nothing. For that and the time they spent in it, okay, there is no balance. I mean, they spend so much time in it and so much energy that it's worth much more than this. But they do it because they want to share, and you will see a small video about this afterwards. So then something very important is also, of course, the relationship with the agency. And here you need really a strong agency, because it's not only about the tool. The tool is great, and the tool you can find everywhere, probably several agencies have, but it's also the team you have behind. So we work with an agency which is named Communispace, and I'm glad to mention their name because we are very happy to work with them. So they are American, but they have an agency in London, but there are some other ones also as well on the market. But the thing that we have 3 people dedicated to that web community, so which are making the day-to-day basis work, and they really are proactive, and that's a good thing of the agency. If you have an agency who is really proactive, really good at interpreting also and analyzing everything which is happening there, that helps a lot. If you have to spend on top of all the things we've said, yourself the time to go through all the discussion one by one, that takes a lot of time. So what's happening is basically the agency is doing a lot of this work, but of course when we come to some topics and we want to dig deeper, we have access to this conversation, so we can see everything which is happening and really who said what at what time. But of course the agency is doing this on a day-to-day basis. We do it on an ad hoc basis when we find, okay, this is worth going into this in depth of this. So the relations with the agency is very, very, very important. So our web community, when we decided to launch it, and it's still the case now, this is the participants. So it's all women. They are all sales consultants, so meaning they all sell our products. They are aged 18-24, so this is what we call youth. This is our definition of youth. 18-24 years old, so you could call them young adults as well. In that web community, the 300 consultants, basically they represent the 4 regions. So each line is a region. And so you have Russia, Ukraine, which is the CIS region, then Poland, Czech, etc. It's EMEA, and here you have Asia and Latin America. So it's basically 1/4 for each region in the web community, and then a split between the countries of the people. So it's not representative at a country level, so we never do statistics about saying we have 27% agreeing on that questionnaire in Russia. We will do it maybe at the regional level, that we have those agreements, but not at the local. But the purpose of it is not to quantify too much. So it's something which is in between quanti and quali. It's more indicative in the quantitative side. But we do a lot of qualitative research through this web community. As I said, we have 3 to 4 activities that we initiate every week with them. So basically twice a week we launch every Monday and every Wednesday. We have new projects coming on the table for them. And those projects, some are really demanding and some are quite easy to do. And interesting fact, that was after 6 months, but I think it's still relevant now across time. We generated in 6 months around 50 activities ourselves. So we came and putting on the table surveys, creative things that we wanted to do ourselves. So coming with a topic we wanted. And look what is self-generated by members, the double. So meaning that they generated between themselves discussions, twice as many discussions as we asked them to do. So typically when we say that they need to participate to 4 activities at the minimum, and we put 8 every month, actually they have 16 activities every month which are ongoing. But then it's sharing, and it can be sharing information between the consultants about anything. Could be about products, could be something that they take from one of our activity and they put it back in another perspective. But it can be also, and this is also very interesting for us, they discuss about what it is to be a sales consultant. So what does it take, how does it work, what's happening in another region, and they compare a little bit and they try to find tools and tips and so on. So very important thing, because that's something we observe, but we learn quite a lot from this kind of feedback as well. So the important thing, and the most important thing in the community, is to keep the vibrancy. So that's where we need. If you want to have something back from it, it needs to be vibrant. So activities all the time, and then things, interesting things. So you need variety as well. So you can't come with asking them, okay, answer my survey now, answer my survey tomorrow, another survey the day after. You need to come with different things. We need, also we have some activities which are then generated by the agency, which are community building activities, which is not dedicated at all to cosmetics, but it's more like to make the glue between the participants. So that's also another kind of activity we put. One of the good things of this is, as I said, for the top management, it was to be in direct contact with our sales consultant. One of the good things is also it's very fast. So that's basically probably the research tool, the fastest one we have available in-house. So sometimes when we have a very urgent topic, something that we want to know really quick, and we need the answer for tomorrow, we can manage to do it through the web community. Of course, always knowing we only look at 18, 24 years old people. That's one of the limitations, of course, of this. But if we want to have some kind of feedback, we do it. And we do this quite regularly, coming with urgent topics and just putting it there just to see how it is. And that's quite a positive aspect of this web community, of course. Then, in a web community, what can you do? You can do amazing things, I would say. So you can do a lot of things like creative activities. So, for example, we ask them from time to time to create an ad or to create a catalog page. How would you represent this product in a new way, different way? And then they start, and we can use some tools, so to create mood boards and so on, inside the system, or taking outside tools that we bring into the community. So that's one way to be. Of course, a lot of people love to do those kind of activities. It's a little bit more time consuming, but it's really good for them because it's more creative. And then, of course, what they do, they all see what the other ones are doing. So they can comment on the other ones. So that's one way also to build on what the other ones are saying. Then we have validation activity. Validation activity is more things like we come ourselves with something to test. So we have a catalog layout, we have an idea about a product, we have a survey, so we just come and we ask a post question and they answer. So this is more kind of traditional things. And then you have the discovery activities, which is more when we want to uncover something. So sometimes we do things which are a little bit more creative or more, how to say that, indirect, in an indirect way. So projective techniques, for example, in the discoveries. So it's like a little bit describe the personality of that brand and so on. So we try to find, because they know our brands in the catalog, so we try to find some emotional clues, for example, that they associate to this. So that's one way we do those projective technique, and then we can use this kind of things, for example, in the communication. So those kind of things. If we have to look at the split, it's basically a bit more of discovery, so it's more looking forward than validation, which is more at a certain moment of thing. And the tool is really good for doing those kind of things. And you can go very far. I mean, one of the activities, for example, I think this is the most daring one we have done, is a deprivation saturation activity in hair care. And when we posted that activity, actually we thought, okay, no one will participate. And to our big surprise, we had many volunteers. So what it is, it was about hair care and basically asking people not to wash their hair for 1 week or not to use a conditioner if they were using conditioner. And some were using both, to use none of them. And then we had the saturation, which is the ones not using usually a conditioner, to make them use them. So we provided them some conditioner. And what was the purpose there? It was not testing a new product. It was basically to see the emotions. So we were asking them every day to report how they felt. And then we could see, well, in the case of the deprivation, we could see the morale coming from everything is fine till I can't anymore and I stop now because it's awful and I can't survive anymore, or people telling us I'm not going out this weekend because I cannot show myself like this, so I stay at home, I cancel all my weekend. So those kind of things. But you had really emotional things, and typically we used it in communication afterwards to try to see who makes those things. So that was a really amazing thing, and I mean, not the 300 of them did it, but I think there were like 40 or 50 out of the 300 who volunteer for that, that kind of activity. So that was quite a very interesting thing that you can do, and of course this generated a lot of discussions internally between the participants and so on. So it was also a great thing to make the vibrancy in the community. So then you have also, as always probably in many projects, you have the skeptics. So you have, and I'm talking about the internal ones, so you have to convince some people that this is really true and this is really working. So convince the skeptics, because you get those kind of feedback. This is not representative, this is biased, because all those people speak English, for example, so they are not representative of our normal sales consultants who don't speak English, most of them, that's true. So this is not representative, it's biased because they all love you and they are all positive to Oriflame and blah, 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 those kind of things. Well, this, and thanks to the help of also of the agency, actually we managed to kill those kind of comments, because actually it is representative, and we had to do several steps to prove it, but the agency, for example, helped us to say, okay, based on there are 200 web communities that they manage worldwide, that this is confirmed that it's not biased, that people are not necessarily more positive because they are a big fan of your brand and so on. So on the contrary, sometimes they are even more demanding. And also what we did is we did explanation, didactical approach, so we're really explaining how it is done, that it is done properly, that it's not biased from a methodology point of view, but also breaking the myth. So this kind of thing, that it's not because you are fan that you are more positive, it's not that you will only give positive comments or blah, blah, many things. And also we did some parallel testing. So just to prove when sometimes it's going too far, we said, okay, let's do it offline. So let's do the same test. And we have done it several times for some sensitive projects. And I would say the very good thing is that in 100% of the cases, the feedback was exactly the same from the offline as from the online. So we could manage to say it's not biased. It's not because they are in a web community from Oriflame and they speak English that it's biased. Not at all. So that's one thing we manage. But yeah, from time to time, you need to be ready to do that because, of course, when the results of our research are not according to what people expect, then they start challenging not the results, but challenging the methodology and so on and so on. The result they cannot. So that's something you need to be prepared for. So then what we do also, you need to have people involvement in it, so I mean the participants. So of course you need to provide them feedback. So it's about telling them, okay, I listen to you. And you will hear now a small video, but that's a key thing. Showing to people, you say something, I listen to you, I understand what you mean. So well, that's one thing. And also to facilitate the connectivity and ensure building trust. So trust is very important. And that's why private community is quite important here. Because you build the trust, people know that they can speak freely, that this is not going everywhere. So it's also an important part to get more deeper into the conversation. So that's one of the things. And then also what we do, we measure satisfaction. So typically we ask them, so they have like a satisfaction survey to do every year in the community. And well, according to the agency, we have one of the community which is one of the most vibrant and satisfied one among the ones they have. So people are quite satisfied, I would say, with this. So one thing I will maybe, and I just press on it, no? I guess. So just show you a small video. It's not more than 2 minutes, which is a video about 4 or 5 sales consultants who are members from that web community. And we'll talk a little bit after the video about it.
Hi everybody, I'm Anuradha and I'm from India. I'm 23 years old.
Cześć, nazywam się Magda, mam 20 lat i pochodzę z Polski.
Cześć, mam na imię Agata i jestem 21-letnią studentką Hebroni z Krakowa.
Я Невольная Ирина, я из России, мне 22 года.
This is just kind of amazing to be a part of something bigger and to see the results. It was kind of a good feeling to see that somebody listens to us.
It gives me a chance to interact with consultants from all over the world.
Here I meet a lot of people from all the places over the world who are interested in one and the same thing, Oriflame.
I think that it's amazing that we can share our thoughts about Oriflame, about cosmetics, beauty tips, etc. But not only about Oriflame, but also about ourselves, our countries, dreams, plans, and even problems.
I would say this is uniting. I feel like this is something amazing that we come from different parts of the world. We are different because we live in different countries, we live in different conditions, but there is something that unites us.
Absolutely, absolutely exciting is the word for them.
Really, really interesting and extremely unusual.
Thanks so much.
It's wonderful, really. I enjoy it. Thank you. Bye.
Okay, so this is, I mean, it's not about showing the video that they are all happy, but it shows really something that they say in the beginning. Finally, I have a company who is listening to me and hearing me, and that's very important, and especially in direct selling, I would say. But they really feel like this, and I can tell you, when we have launched, we have started this web community 1 year before launching the use products on the market, really, in the use platform. Oh, sorry. Yeah, and when we've launched this, at the time of the launch, of course, we showed them, okay, this is what we are going to launch now. This is the result of 1 year of testing with you in collaboration. The enthusiasm among the ones participating in the web community was fantastic, I would say. They were really like commenting, yes, I see now that we contributed, we could influence Oriflame. Finally, they listened to us, and they really did what we wanted, and so on. So much positivity things. We used that video in internal conferences. So to show to the management, but also to show to the consultants, the other ones in the regions when we have conferences. And we showed them those ones. And it happened in one of the meetings that this lady, which from Poland, that you smiled about her comments about unusual, she is basically one member of a team of one of the lady who was in that conference. In 5 seconds, that lady among the room who suddenly stand up and say, hey, this one is working in my team. She became the star of the whole thing because everyone was saying, wow, great, you have someone. So that's also a real motivational thing. And we refresh this web community every 6 months. We have never any problem to find enough people wanting to participate. The main barrier, I would say, is their ability to really speak English. That's the main difficulty. We have to find people. But we always have too many people wanting to enter the web community. So that's one great thing to do from a PR perspective, great thing to do from an internal PR as well, those kind of things. So the learn and adapt from the project was within the web community. I said it already, but variation of activities is really important. Refreshment of participants to ensure continuously vibrancy and to ensure continually to have enough people participating is also very important. And then the weekly call with the agency is key to make sure that we have organized things on time, variation among the things we do. So the agency is making sure that we are not coming with the same thing all the time and so on. So all those pictures are ladies which are members of the web community. Within the company also one key thing, and I think that was probably a mistake we did at the beginning, and this is more from my department, I would say, follow up on actions. That's something key in this. At the beginning, it was a little bit like, okay, this is the feedback, we provide the feedback, this is the report, we discuss it, and then we assume you implement it in the marketing. It happened not to be the case all the time. And I can share with you that we had a few things problematic when we launched afterwards, which of course tracked it and we validate the thing and the perception. And one of the key things, for example, which was negative, even if a lot was positive, but we had still some negative sides, was the childishness of some products. So some products we perceive as too childish. And then, of course, it was a bit the problem in the company, saying, how can it be that we are too childish when we have been testing this for 1 year with people and so on? And then it happened that actually This had been said in the web community, this had been highlighted, communicated, but then it has not been really worked on, and marketing did not really change the products. So that's something that we now do, clearly. When we have the feedback, we give it to marketing, but then we follow up on seeing what have you been doing as a corrective action for this. So that's something important, as controller interpretation of the results as well. So we don't let people just pick one sentence from a web community and put it completely out of context. This has to be something, when someone is using something with a web community, the core team, those 3 persons, need to have their view on it, because otherwise it's easy to take one sentence out of context, and then you can just say whatever you want. Ensure consistency across stakeholders, so this is through communication, that everyone is at the same level. And then a yearly summit, you're looking backward and looking forward. Of course, my wish was to have a yearly summit where all those 300 people would meet in reality. This happens to look a little bit too expensive to do. So we have not done that yet, maybe one day, but not yet. So when I say the yearly summit is the internal people meeting, meaning the marketing people developing the products, the regional people implementing regionally, and then the core team as well with the agency. And there it's the opportunity to look backwards, so what we have been doing, the agency communicating as well, but then also looking at what can be done. And in that meeting, typically, the agency is always showing what are the new possibilities of the tool, but typically as well, the agency is trying to get from the marketing what are their next things they want. And that's a good thing of this agency we work with. Based on this feedback, they come 1 week or 2 weeks after with a proposal how to cover all those needs with different kind of activities and so on. And which basically gives us a portfolio of activities which really fits what the marketing wants, but already turned in the way how to do it through this tool. So that's one of the key interesting things from this yearly summit, which really is important, I think. So then some results. I will not give real figures, but as you said, we had some challenging at the beginning. So one of them is increased sales to the youth target audience. Yes, we did. So we checked that, and we sell more to the people who are, well, we sell more through the people who are 18-24 than before. So that's one of the key things. And when I say we sell more, it's double-digit growth in this kind of target audience. Increase in the size of the youth sales force. Yes, we managed to recruit more people selling our products who are from that age. So also, we became somehow more attractive. Of course, we have had some activities purely dedicated to this, so it's not a major surprise, but still it works. Then, the good thing, in the last brand tracking, the usefulness has been improving. Not yet at the level we would like to, but still we are perceived a little bit more modern, young brand. So that's positive perception. Improvement in the catalog creative. We also have done a lot of work on this. So we have now something which is, I would say, being a little bit black and white, but before the youth section or the youth product, we're exactly presenting the same way as the other ones. Now they are really, they have a specific section in our catalog, so they are regrouped together, and they have a different style. And that's one of the style here, but it's very different from the other pages usually. So it's quite easy to identify this is the youth section in the catalog. And then many new developments in online communication. I would say when I did hear what Angela presented, we have the same kind of activities, a lot of different activities online, and we try to do a lot of things also with targeting this youth audience, but it's the same kind of approach that Avon is doing. I would say we have been really, in some countries, we give some freedom as well, so some countries were much successful than others, and they did much more effort as well. I would nominate, for example, Romania and India as 2 countries which have invested quite a lot, which have done a lot online, a lot of activities, really updating on every day, so something really interactive, competitions and so on, and this has paid off, those 2 countries. So we really saw, that the countries who invested in this target really have won something. The ones who did it a little bit as usual have been less successful. So this is some key results, and then what's next? Now when we want to do, because we do with them, so validation, some ideas, generation, and so on, we want to move to the next step that's probably what the step we will take soon, is to move into an innovation community, which would be a different kind of setup, probably not with only sales consultant, but using it as an innovation tool more than a validation tool. So it would be really looking for, okay, developing things together. So moving into the co-creation probably aspect, which definitely is something very strong in direct selling as well. I can imagine if we come with this is the product created by consultants, for consultants, that will be a big hit. So we have done something about co-creation a little bit with them, but it's more a kind of a design thing or something. Now we would like to move into the next step, which would be clearly developing a full product with them. So that's one of the projects for the future. And then how does it integrate with this front-end innovation? This is our schematic process of front-end innovation. And typically, where we want to make it happen is here in ideation. Okay, in the usual process, we have workshops, ideation workshops that we organize, which are nothing to see with the youth project necessarily. But we would like to come with this front-end innovation process to link the youth activities we would do in an innovation web community as another source for ideation. And so generate more ideas that then can feed the innovation funnel. That would be one kind of additional source. So that's a little bit where we are going in the future soon. And I think this is it from my side. So I'm happy to answer any question you would have.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Jacques. Very interesting to hear that you made such a big success out of the community.